Yay, blueprints.
I'm really excited to talk about this one. And how it's made was fascinating. So
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, I had a good time this morning reading a bunch of articles. I'm going to cite my sources. We've been pretty lazy about that.
We're not researchers, we're gamers.
So this time I'm going to be linking the sources in the show notes. Look at us.
Good for you. Okay.
Okay.
Want to get ready? Hi, I'm Bridget.
And I'm Maddie. Welcome to Baddy Breakdowns, where we hang out, have fun, and play games all the way to the end. Today, we're going to talk about Blueprints. We'll give you the breakdown from its creation to its critical reception. Then we'll take you on a deep dive into the game as we share our own experiences and opinions while playing it. We'll close with if we recommend it, who we'd recommend it to, and last but not least, our personal rating. With that, let's draft. Classic.
Classic.
Game description.
Right. Yeah. So I have the description. I got it from Steam, but I have one additional line that I want to add to it because it needs it. Anyway, welcome to Mount Holly, where every dawn unveils. That's fine. Whatever. Unveils a new mystery. Navigate through shifting corridors and ever-changing chambers in this genre-defying strategy puzzle adventure. But will your unpredictable path lead you to the rumored Room 46? And that's it. And so the thing I'd like to add is that this is a roguelike puzzle game. And if you're asking yourself how in the world you pull off a roguelike puzzle game because they feel very different, you're about to find out. But I
don't know. I feel like there's been like a couple roguelike or just it's really interesting. One of the terms that I've started hearing is a Metroidvania. I
don't think this is a Metroidvania though, because
it feels like similar-y.
Metroidvania implies like the Metroid functionality.
That's true.
Like finding objects that unlock areas and then like going back and being able to see those places with new eyes.
Some people called Outer Wilds a Metroidvania. It's not.
Those
really.
People aren't correct.
But it's more about the feeling it invokes, it's like a mix of genres with your brain.
We have patents in labeling game genres.
Okay, that's true. That's really accurate.
And I'm going to actively veto Metroidvania for this particular game. I think it worked really well for Animal Well.
Yes, totally. Yes. Animal Well is a Metroidvania. But I just mean that or I guess like it's very it's the Brainia part. It's like mixing puzzle and another genre is becoming pretty popular with these like indie games.
I agree with you there.
Yeah. Okay.
I will say that we have leaned into playing a lot of them, I think, because
I like them a lot.
Yeah,
so.
we're attracted to them.
Yeah. I like them a lot. Okay. So the game was made by the independent studio Dogu Bomb, I think is the way that you say that, and was primarily developed by Tonda Ross. It was just one guy. He was running a graphics studio that made ads for companies like Pepsi in LA, and he had always wanted to make a game but didn't know it was possible until he saw a documentary called Indie Game the Movie, which was a documentary about a bunch of indie game studios that made, successful games. And it showed him how small teams could make really good games and how it was possible. And he wasn't a very technical person. And so when that's what had always been preventing him from trying it. Because he was like, well, I'm not much of a coder. I'm not super technical. but he started playing around with Unity and found it was much easier than he thought. Like playing around with like placing walls, placing floors, placing, you know, geometric shapes in a room and copying and pasting those. It ended up just being more approachable than he was thinking originally.
Yeah.
And so he was really inspired by tabletop games, if that wasn't super obvious, and other video games like Myst that are really like environmental puzzle games.
Wait, did he name which tabletop games? Because
Magic
I thought
the Gathering.
Oh, okay. I was like, this feels like Betrayal at House on the Hill. So
No,
I was
he
curious.
didn't mention that one. Yeah.
Okay.
He had been making board games for his friend group for a long time, like just like for fun. Like he had been making these like board game, puzzle game experiences for his friend group, and he had really narrowed in on the idea of drafting with a double meaning, both in drawing cards like Magic the Gathering drafting and referring to architectural blueprints.
Yeah,
and that's what got him started on making this game. It took him 8 years to make the game.
Oh my holy Lanta.
It's one of those, yeah. So he...
You know what? Vibe. Games take a really long time by yourself.
Yeah. And it was really interesting because he started and he had a playable prototype in 1 year on Unity. And then he started just building it out from there over the course of the next couple of years. He said while he was making the game, he avoided playing these similar Brainia games like Obra Dinn, Outer Wilds. And he accidentally played Tunic because he didn't know it was going to be that. Yeah. Which I thought was funny because he was like, I didn't want to be subconsciously influenced by these types of games because he really wanted to make sure he was building his own thing.
So this is the second time that we've heard that from different groups. So I don't remember if the other one was Tactical Breach Wizards, but there was like another game developer who said the same thing of like, I didn't want to be strongly influenced by other things. Maybe it wasn't Tactical. It was some other game that we've played here. And I always feel like that's really interesting because, you know, you hear about like, well, how do you become a good writer? You read books. How do you, like that kind of thing.
Well,
and so it's just such an interesting approach.
Inspired by like Myst and tabletop games, and that's what he wanted to ground himself. I could see like if you play a game like Obra Dinn, it might like subconsciously be like getting into your brain, and then you like accidentally start changing
overthink
what
it maybe.
And like change your vision.
Okay,
or
I can see that.
I can see that being something that is, once you get started on development, something that might hurt more than it helps. Yeah. Versus maybe at the beginning, like before you start development, you might want to like do research and like figure it out. But then once you start and you've set on a vision, I could see it being distracting.
Yeah. Okay. I buy that.
So after 3 years of development, so total 3 years since he started, he had a fully working game, but it was all using Unity's assets, like all of their like set assets that are for free that you can use in the engine. Yeah. And so he enlisted David Polino, I hope that's how you say that, to create the art for the game. And it's funny because he said that he thought it would take 6 months, but instead it took 2 years as they scrapped and replaced literally every single asset and room. They like fully redesigned it ground up because it was, they made, and that's what the art style that we see today, right? It's this very custom, very vibey art style that they've come up with. And I think that was a great call. Like this game would not have had the impact that it has without the touches that make it not feel kind of like it came out of Unity's similar assets. Library. So I thought that part was really interesting. And then while he was working on this, he had like play testers and stuff too that he employed for like certain aspects of it. And he also got a composer to do that like background music. And he funded the meager salaries for the people by with his ad agency money that he had made from, like the Pepsi commercials.
Wait, so was he still doing the ad agency during this time? He had done full-time blueprints for 8 years?
Yeah. I think it took him a little bit to quit his full-time job, but like most of it, he was full-time Blueprints.
Holy moly. I don't have that kind of
Okay, so here's
gambling
the
in me.
other interesting piece, though. Here's the other interesting piece is he'd also had a fan website for Magic the Gathering that made enough money in ad revenue. He runs like a really good fan website for Magic the Gathering,
Oh
and
my
that had enough
god.
ad revenue to sustain him on a meager salary. I mean, he wasn't living large, but he was like,
Yeah. Able
all
to
I did
like
was make this video game. I wasn't spending a ton of money. Like I wasn't doing vacations. I wasn't. And he said that
yeah.
he had also sold his car and got an electric bike instead. Like he did all of these things and was living pretty, just
Frugally.
pretty frugally. Yeah.
Hmm.
And his ad revenue from the Magic the Gathering site was enough for him to sustain himself and his like
Crazy
few salaries.
business.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So then finally in 2021, he had the full game with the new art, the music, and he spent
Mhm.
the next 3 years balancing the game and deepening the well. So that's where he started really like honing in on the puzzles, the larger story, and
Yeah.
that took 3 years. So now we're, it kind of shows the timeline of like, it truly took him about 2 years to make a game, but then he did the art, and then he did the music, and he did that, and now he spent 3 years
Yeah.
doing the balancing and the deepening the well piece. And he really said that one of his goals when he was making this game was he wanted a game with as little hand holding as possible to really encourage exploration and
Yeah.
letting users figure out their own strategy for this game.
Mhm.
And there's lots of different ways to approach this game that are going to get you to the right answer, and he
Yep.
wanted to give people the freedom for that. And he also really worked on the pace in that balancing. He said he really wanted the pace to be steady and make every run feel engaging and let the players take their time. Which maybe we can talk about like how successful
We're definitely
he
going to talk about
was
it.
at that, but that was
But
his
I
goal.
appreciate that that was the goal, and I see aspects of the game design that mimic that goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I wanted to end this section with a quote from him that I really liked that I think kind of
Ooh.
wraps up his thoughts and feelings when making this game. The game easily could have been shipped 6 years ago. My decision to keep working on it was because I wanted to create the game I wanted to play. I wanted there to be that depth and those secrets, and when I got a taste for how well things were working, I wanted more. I wanted it to be like a web, a never-ending web. No matter how much you play, there's still something more to discover.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And I do feel like that was accomplished.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
That was
Critical
good.
reception. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that, Maddie. Good job. Critical reception. So this game has some incredible review scores. 9 out of 10 on IGN, 92% on PC Gamer, 92 on Metacritic, 9 out of 10 on GameSpot.
Is it a
Steam-
Metacritic must play?
Well, God, I don't know, Maddie.
Oh, never mind. Don't worry about it. Just keep going. I was just kidding.
The Steam reviews, however, are only very positive and
Whoa.
not overwhelmingly positive. I know.
People are being weird about this game.
I'm going to be weird about this game, so everyone get ready. 84% out of 4,000-ish reviews, which is still a very good score. And then Reddit, because I've been spending my time there quite a bit, has been wildly split. I do not have metrics on the Reddit split. The positives that people have talked through have been, hey, the pure amount of content. Wow, there's a lot of content in here. And a lot of people have actually really enjoyed the design of the puzzles, I've noticed. So people calling out like the difficulty can be quite hard, quite challenging, but still fulfilling when you finally get the answers to it. It does feel like everywhere you look, there is something to understand, something to connect to something else, and people have really been enjoying that. On top of that, a lot of people have enjoyed the kind of discovery aspect that comes with the introduction of those roguelike mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
And having that paired with the puzzle content is very new, very fresh. And I think a lot of people have
I like
enjoyed
it.
that kind of mix
Mm-hmm.
up. Now, the negative side, a couple of things. One have been around respecting players' time, which I think is a phrase that Maddie and I use constantly on this podcast. But the lack of being able to skip through cutscenes, as an example, is what people have been saying, respecting time. So, like, every time you dig a hole, you have to dig for a second, you wait a second while the screen blacks out, and then you wait a second while the image pops up of what you got. Even if you've had a tin can 100 times before, you still can't skip through it, and you have to see the fact that it's a tin can. We'll talk through some of that, I think, a little bit more because I have my own opinions on it. But like, that's the repetitive actions aren't skippable. And so that's some of the quality of life things that people have mentioned. It's very similar to Animal Crossing, if you guys have played Animal Crossing at all, where they take it slow, and the game design has done that on purpose, right? So that you take the game a little bit slower and you explore. The other big frustration is around RNG and how that impacts game progression.
That's the discourse that I've seen.
Yes, and that's been very, very, very popular on the subreddit, as well as people argue back and forth about RNG, no RNG. And it's very interesting, and again, we'll get into it more, because the reasoning behind people not liking RNG has been, it's almost like two people talking across each other, because the people who really like the aspects of it are like, hey, well, you just must not like roguelikes. And then people who are like, no, I like roguelikes, I don't like this RNG, but they're just totally talking past each other. So I'm excited to talk a little bit about it today, because I have some opinions. I also deep dive talked about this with our coworker Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick. So we have talked about this a little bit. I don't have exactly the same opinions as him, but I have at least talked about it quite a bit and have some thoughts. But to wrap up this section, I wanted to read out a positive quote and a negative one, just because, again, a lot of people really like, this is a very, very, very positively reviewed title. I'm interested to see, as we talk through it, if the high critic scores that are so outrageously high are because, again, we've talked about this before, they don't play to the end every time, and sometimes that can really heavily impact the ratings for the game. So, jumping in. Positive, the fact that this is only very positive and not overwhelmingly positive at the time of writing is preposterous to me. This is already my Game of the Year 2025 and possibly my favorite game of all time. I played the demo last year and was already hooked, and since the game has come out in full release, I have been utterly consumed by it. I am so afraid to truly finish this game because I know I won't be able to play it again for the first time. So I think that reflects pretty well how passionate people are about this game. Like, some people just really, really, really love it. The negative one that I wanted to read was mostly just funny. Whoever this is, person, oh, did I not get your name? I'm so sorry. I should have gotten your name on this one because it's so funny. You should be a writer. So good. Okay. I have a love-hate relationship with this game, by which I mean I loved 25% of the experience and hated the other 75% with the fiery passion of 1,000 softlock suns. You know, the kind of game that traps you in a toxic relationship where you have to keep playing because you might be close to beating it or getting to the good part, but deep down, you know it's just gaslighting you. Yeah, that. And then one final quote, I won't read this whole thing. One of the defenses I've seen from fans: if you've played this for numerous hours, surely you liked it. No, absolutely not. This game taught me the true meaning of waiting, and not in a spiritual way, more in a DMV on a holiday weekend kind of way.
Oh, no.
This guy's a little extreme with his frustration, but I thought he was very, very funny. So yeah, that's it. That's what we got for y'all.
Okay.
And
Seems like it's going to be a spicy meatball of a
I
conversation.
I think so. I want to dig into the game design aspects of this game, also just because it's so unique, and I want to talk about whether we think it was successful at the end of the day at mixing these two genres or not. So yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. All right. First impressions?
First impressions. Do you want to go?
Sure. Okay. So, my first impressions, I really liked the menu. That's where my first impressions start. The menu vibes were very good, like the music, and it really reminded me of Clue. Like, I wrote down, like, Clue. I feel like I'm about to start a Clue video game.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And then I started it. It was like a board game video game. And I was like, dang, he really nailed that, like, first experience, I thought. And I was immediately hooked on the premise of the game. Like, it felt fun and interesting. The only thing that I will say is the letter that you start with that kind of explains, hey, you need to do a thing to get my inheritance. And it said, like, there was a time, like he said, in an amount of time or something like that. I can't really remember, but I kind of wonder if that set my expectations of, like, oh, I only have so many days to finish this thing and to accomplish this goal. And I wonder if that set my mindset a little bit incorrectly. I ended up figuring out that wasn't the case later on, but those are my first impressions. Is I really liked the concept. I was really hooked. But the other piece that I thought was involved was a time pressure to it. Like, figuring out that 46th room in a certain amount of time to get my inheritance.
That would not be good, I think, if that existed. But I see how you probably, like, got to that conclusion. I think for me, I was in a very similar spot. I was so pumped for the premise. Like, I'm a really big fan of puzzle games, obviously. And I vibe with roguelikes, especially because I like sessions.
Yeah.
It just feels refreshing every time you start a new one. So I'm a big fan of that. The vibe, I agree with you also. Like, I like the setting that they put here, this mysterious mansion that you change the rooms
inside. It's like
inside
in the Pacific Northwest, kind of. Maybe?
Yeah, it's very moody. Yeah. Maybe also Maine. I don't know. I never know. Whenever they're moody like this, it's either the Pacific Northwest or the Northeast somewhere around there. But it's very, like, cool and vibey and moody. I really enjoyed the art style. I thought I still have questions about whether or not the hash marks all over the art style are actually a secret hidden puzzle somehow, so don't spoil me if that's true. But I enjoyed that a lot, and I started finding puzzle material right away, like almost immediately.
Yeah.
And I realized that some people didn't solve, like, the first puzzle. Literally, I have like 6 lines of notes that are the premise of the game, which we'll talk about. And then I feel like I'm building Betrayal, the board game. And then fuck, do these posters mean something? And then I started solving the poster stuff immediately. So I got really, really into the puzzles almost right away, which I really enjoyed.
I think you were talking about the posters. It's like the 2 pictures.
Yes, yeah.
And then 1 letter's missing between them.
Yes. And we should briefly mention
on day 1. I haven't figured out what they're doing.
Oh, well, okay, hold on. I would like to briefly mention for this podcast that this is about to be spoilery as shit. Okay?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so this game isn't a game that you can talk about.
You will not be able to have, after listening to this, a true first experience with this game.
Yes, so if you really want that, it's on Game Pass. Go play it for free. Or go buy it.
Or it's on it's like on all of the platforms. It is literally on all of them. So really and truly, if you want the true fresh experience, which I do think is best when playing this type of game, please go do that first before continuing this
and then
podcast.
Come back.
It is really quickly. It's very approachable from a game mechanics perspective. Like, you're not going to be doing anything with the controls. Like, the controls are very approachable. So if you're the kind of person that's like, oh, well, I can't play split fiction because I literally don't know, like, timing stuff is hard for me. This is not about, like, timing of pressing buttons.
Mm-mm.
It is not about looking and walking in a really fluent way. Like, you're not fighting anyone. You're not doing any sort of combat. So really and truly, it's a very approachable game from a controls perspective. So I would recommend playing it if that's a barrier for you.
Yeah.
Before continuing on.
Yes. Agree. Okay. Posters. Do you want me to spoil you, Maddie? Are you ready for spoilers?
Well, so I guess, like, I just know I'm just writing down the letters, but I don't know what they mean. Like, I don't know what they're for.
Okay, so this is the first puzzle that I solved, which is kind of wild.
That's so
because
funny.
It was the most obvious one for me to detect that it was a puzzle.
Well, I knew it was a puzzle, and that's why I'm writing down, but I don't know what it all means.
So, this puzzle is one of the first ones that you run into that's really, really clear, to your point, Maddie, that it is a puzzle, but not clear how to solve it. And what you'll notice, Maddie, is that the images change in the room, right? Like, you go to the dining room and see the images, and it's not always the same images every time you're in the dining room.
Okay.
So you could notice that it has nothing to do with the room because it's changing constantly.
Oh,
instead,
it's with the position.
It's about the position and the grid. Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes. And then you get a very beautiful, easy to read string that gives you a hint to other puzzles. No, you're not stupid. You're not stupid at all.
I didn't realize that. I've been writing the letters with the rooms, and I didn't really think about it that way.
Yeah. Well, it's just honestly, the puzzle design actually in this game, I really, really, really enjoyed. And we can talk about it more. And that's honestly why I'm a little peeved at this game, is because I think the puzzle design is actually really good for a lot of different things. There are some that are a little questionable, but overall really good. And this, I think, is one of those things that it just, if you puzzle a lot of paper puzzles, then it feels more obvious because you're used to, like, you figured out the one letter difference. And once you have that, you have to figure out how does that become a word. And there's really only two ways to do that, because the only thing associated with the pictures are either where you're at on the board or where you're at with the rooms. And since it's constantly changing with the rooms, you can check a few times to see if it's the same in a spot, and it is. And then you can know that it's the same in a spot.
I just didn't make that leap of, like, checking the rooms.
Yeah.
I was just writing down the letters because I thought it was about the uniqueness of them. So I was only Does this make sense? This is where my brain went. I'm sorry. It's really stupid. But I thought, like, I was seeing repetitive ones, but instead of saying, oh, position matters, my brain went, that one doesn't matter. It's repetitive. I've already seen that one. And so I thought that what I was supposed to do was write down the unique pieces, and then that would come up with a word I would have to unscramble. But then I'm like,
how do I unscramble this
20-something letters deep, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is obviously not the right track.
45 letters.
I feel really stupid.
No. And to be totally honest with you, the string that you get was like a hint towards solving some of the safes that you find like around the house. But it's not like this, oh my God, everything falls into place kind of thing. Okay. Which was also one of the things I noticed about this game. And that's why I was struggling
with the safes so badly.
Yes, maybe. It does tell you the pattern, stronger hints for solving it. Yes.
I noticed the pattern after I got the first save.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But anyway, so first impressions, you jump into puzzles immediately. It's very much so, like, right away. What was the first puzzle that you solved, Maddie, if it wasn't that one?
I don't know if I thought about it that way. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
I wasn't really, like, thinking about it that way. I was kind of just, like, trying to get to the antechamber because that's where my brain went. Like, you don't really know what you're supposed to do to find the 46th room. So everything was in service. Everything that I was doing was in service of that. And I was noticing little things and I was doing little things. Like I have 3 out of the 4 flames. I don't know what these flames are going to do.
Ooh.
But I've got 3 out of the 4 of them.
I won't if you don't want me to.
And I, like, that's how I'm approaching it because I don't have the puzzle brain that you have. And so I kind of just have been solving it as I'm going along and, like, as I'm noticing it versus solving this big overarching thing intentionally. Like, I was very much sticking to the goals of the game, which was to find the 46th room.
Yeah. That's interesting because I almost immediately ignored that goal. I think because I had the expectation this was going to have a lot of puzzles in it and this was a puzzle game. So I kind of assumed you wouldn't be able to get to the 46th room without solving some of these big puzzles, which isn't true, actually. There are only a couple of things that you need to fall into place in order to get into the room. And a lot of the puzzles that I actually solved, I didn't make it to the antechamber. So we should probably do like a TLDR on the goals here. But I didn't make it to room 46 in the antechamber until I think late day 20s is when I first got there. And I had solved a lot of apparently the puzzles people considered post credits because I had been doing that instead. And they don't block you from doing a lot of that. There are a couple that are like kind of blocked or at least hinted towards afterwards. But I felt like I had plenty to do without going, and I kind of thought that I couldn't go until I had solved a bunch of stuff, which wasn't true. And the only reason I really ended up shooting for the antechamber was because we had a podcast, and I was like, I need to make sure I roll credits.
Yeah.
before we record. And so I definitely approached it super differently because I almost ignored room 46 immediately, right away.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a quick premise, Maddie? Is that a thing that we want to do?
Yeah. So essentially, the premise of this game is you are a 14-year-old and you have been given an inheritance by your, I thought it was your grandpa, but it's actually your great uncle.
Oh.
I thought it was grandpa.
That.
No, I didn't either.
Grandpa.
It was when I was doing the how it's made this morning that I realized it was great uncle. So he has given you, he's passed away, and he said, you can have my inheritance if you're able to find the 46th room of my 45-room estate. That's the goal of the game. And you start to realize that how you craft this 45-room estate is you open doors. When you open a door, there is 3 random rooms that pop up, and you pick one. And the random rooms themselves can be dead ends. They can have more doors in them. Sometimes they have puzzles in them themselves. Well, they all kind of have little puzzles in them, but some of them are puzzles to get resources. And as you go more and more north in the estate, it gets a little bit harder and harder, and you run into more dead ends. And so there's this strategy that you have to employ because the only room at the beginning that is set on your map is the antechamber at the very top. So you know you're probably going to have to go there to do this 46th room situation. But you have to get there first. And even getting there is a challenge because every time you open a door, you can run into a dead end. Right. Or you run into a room that is full of doors that are locked and you don't have enough keys. I ran into that a ton.
So much.
And the
Why
resources
so
that you have, the resources that you have as you're going throughout this game, or you have coins, which you can use to buy things. You have gems, which you use to draft rarer rooms, and you have keys, which unlock doors in rooms. And the more north that you go,
and chests.
Oh, and chests. Yeah, the keys also unlock chests. The more north that you go, the more locked doors you run into, the more rare rooms you run into. So you want to, at the beginning, get resources so that as you keep going, you have enough resources to keep going. Yeah. And unlock stuff.
You also have a perpetual limited resource of steps.
Yep.
So the way that they track time in this game, there's clocks actually tracking time, but the way that they track your time per day is via steps. And I think you start off with 50.
50.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you start off with 50 steps, and each time you enter into a room, it costs you a step. Some rooms cost more, some rooms give you steps, but you have this limited resource that if it hits 0, you're done for the day, and that's like the end of your run.
Mm-hmm. And the steps are, Bridget mentioned it, but I want to emphasize the steps are not like the literal steps that you take. Otherwise, that would be insane. But it's about walking into a room. That takes a step. And it's also like if you backtrack, that's still taking steps. Like every time you step into a new room is a step.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I wonder if it makes sense. I have some information on the story because of the red envelopes I've been finding. And so I can
found 4
summarize.
envelopes.
Hey, that's good. Yeah. I only have...
So far.
I think I only have 6.
And we know there's 8.
Is there 8 or is there only 7 envelopes?
Because I found the 8th.
Wait, where's the 8th letter?
Something about blackmail.
Well, half of them are about blackmail. I wonder, was that in... Okay, wait, hold on, guys. We have to figure out how to structure this podcast.
Yeah, let's try to piece together the story. What letters do you have? I have 8, 4, 7, and 6, I think.
Oh my gosh, you organized that so well, Maddie. I have numbers 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, and then I just found another one, but I didn't write down the number. Unfortunately, it was in the tiny safe. Have you seen the tiny safe?
I haven't.
There's a tiny safe, which was super
That's
cute.
Yes,
but I don't remember what that one's number is. So I have one more other than that.
So I know that is the tiny safe the diary?
No, but I haven't unlocked the diary yet.
I haven't either.
Yeah, so the diary I haven't unlocked. And so the premise, right, of you figuring out what actually happens in this story is mostly told through like notes that you find in the building and letters, and the letters
and news articles
and like news articles and stuff. And so these letters, if we look at the string that we get from the secret pictures, I won't tell you the whole string so that you can be excited about that when you figure it out, but it does imply that there are 8 safes. And then if you go, and I don't know, have you been to the, what's the room with the psychic in it? The psychic machine?
The rumpus room.
The rumpus room. Yeah. That implies to me, along with some other letters, that you're only ever going to find 7 red letters instead of 8, which is why I'm like, I don't know how many.
I'm going to be honest. The Great Alzara really fucking confused me. Nothing he ever said felt like it meant anything. Like,
no. I feel like there are hints
and it was
in there
kind
somewhere,
of
and I don't know what they
there
are.
was one where I was like, "Am I in a horror game right now?" Where did you get the one where he talked about someone was following you?
Yes, that one was weird. Yes,
did that was that true? Was somebody following you?
I literally don't know. The if there is information to gather from those psychic readings, I think I've gotten one thing max, and it was a thing I'd already figured out, so I noticed. And then everything else has been totally useless to me. And I'm sure people listening to this podcast right now are like, Bridget, that helps solve like 6 puzzles. And I'll be like, great.
I truly, some of this, I really felt like I was too dumb for this game because I've gotten nothing from the Great Alzara. I've gotten literally nothing from
I haven't either. That's fine. But like
I've been writing it down, but I've been like,
Oh, you
Shrugged.
actually wrote it down?
Well, one of the last ones, something about a sentinel stone searching 3 p.m. longing for the day to pass. I was like, okay, that feels
Oh,
like
that feels important. That feels important.
maybe.
Yeah.
I just don't fucking know. That's what I mean. Is like I feel too stupid for this game.
You're not too stupid for the game. In fact, you rolled credits, Maddie. So
I did, but still.
So how do we want to piece together? Tell me what you think the story is based on the letters you have so far.
Okay, so his mom was an author. And there's this
Right.
political backstory that I haven't fully pieced together, but it feels like a Red Scare type situation where she was probably like more liberal or whatever, and she was an author that wrote children's books. And I think what ended up happening is she was part of a resistance movement, and the resistance movement stole the royal crown because they were against the royalty. And then people were after them. And the great uncle that owns this house, hid her and her accomplices in the house for a little bit because there's like a shelter that you can unlock.
Yeah, I think they hid in the shelter in the safe house. Yeah.
And then he like smuggled her to a different place. That's my leading thought based on the other letters, because there was some where the person was like, I have to believe that she's alive. Like, I think that's why you did this. There was something about blackmail, and I don't know why, but it seems like that's the overarching story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. That's my understanding as well, at least like close enough. I don't have all the letters yet, so I'm not sure. The blackmail, what I have thought maybe it has been is they partnered maybe with people to help smuggle her out, but they weren't necessarily good people. And so I thought maybe the blackmail was related to that somehow, where it's like, oh, these people helped them, but now they have a thing up on them. Like they know that this lady's alive. They know who has the crown, blah, blah, blah. Maybe these people aren't good people and that's why they're being blackmailed. So I'm not sure if that's what is up there. The letter that I think had the most context was the one that you find in room 46 when you go back. And that actually had a full ass magazine cutout letter ransom
back to 46.
You didn't go back?
I didn't know there was more.
Yeah.
Oops.
To be fair, so I told Maddie before we started recording this podcast episode today that I finally got off my ass and played Blueprints one more time last night, and it was to reach room 46
again
a second time.
Yeah, I want to keep playing. Like, I'm going to keep playing. Yeah.
I don't know if I will. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But that room, if you go back, there's like a letter and then there's like a ransom note. And the letter implies that they did stay in the safe house and like escaped. And the son of the author, which is you, the main character, were maybe like left something by her, but I'm not sure what yet because I haven't made it that far. But so I think you're totally spot on. And I don't know really what's going on with the blackmail. I don't really understand the politics bit, except that there were a few notes, some places that were like, take this out, too political. So I think you're probably on the right track.
Yeah, like it seems like she was part of some resistance movement against like monarchy.
Yeah. And what was interesting is that we get a copy of a lot of her books. And so I feel like there's probably subtext in those books. Haven't found.
Well, so the whole so at first the too political like change the ending note was that she had to completely change the ending to her Red Prince book. And the ending of the Red Prince book was that he always loved red, and it's the book that you're reading now. Versus the true ending was he finally looked at the sky and he had a new favorite color, blue. It was about him changing his mind and opening his mind. And that's the part that they made her cut. And so that's what makes me think like, right? Like that's like a very like
Red, blue.
political, yeah, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
she had to cut out him looking up at the sky and then learning to love the color blue versus
Staying with what traditionalists, staying with what you know.
yes, yeah. So that's the
Yeah.
political undertone that I'm piecing together.
I like that.
But I think that because it's so pieced together, it actually lessened the impact of that like reveal when you open room 46, which I had a note on because it was like, I felt like that moment, like I felt like an emotional response, but I felt like the emotional response would have been a lot stronger if I like fully knew at that moment like what was happening. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean because I was moved so little by the cutscene after opening room 46 that I have forgotten what it is.
It was the blue. It was the blue. It was the continuation of her book. That was the cutscene.
Oh, and I hadn't figured that out by the time I had opened the room, I don't think.
Yeah.
That makes sense though. But see, like that's one like piece of this when you have the stuff that you're supposed to be piecing together and then one very specific moment like that. Absolutely. Like it doesn't hit very hard. I don't know.
But it's hard when I see exactly what he was doing and trying to do, and I can imagine that if you have this big overarching thing, it's going to be really hard to make sure everyone gets all the letters before they reach room 46 or something, right? Like,
oh, totally. Yeah.
That would be a really hard thing to accomplish. I want to say near impossible thing to accomplish. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
unless it's like hidden linear, which wouldn't be as fun, I don't think.
No. So I think that unfortunately that's just the nature of this game, but but I appreciate what it was trying to do with it.
Yeah. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the RNG aspects of the game and as it relates to early game and then late game, I think. Mm-hmm. So this game, we're assuming that you guys have at least played it to the point that you want to play it by the time you're listening to this. So I won't go into too much detail. But for me, the beginning of the game, it makes sense that there's so much RNG, right? We have this whole new mechanic that I think is really fun, being able to place rooms and figure out what works and what doesn't work. Like, oh, it makes sense that I need to pull these dead ends out of my draft pool early, so make more dead ends at the bottom so that I'm more likely to have more flexibility at the end when I have to do very, very specific things to get the rooms that I want to be put together. So I think there is an aspect of that to me was very entertaining and very interesting for the first few runs.
Mm-hmm.
The problem I have with this and with a few other things in the game that are similar to this, like the billiard room puzzle, the dartboard math puzzle, and the parlor trick puzzles, is that there is a period of time where these things are puzzles. And then there is a period of time afterwards, once you have figured out how to do the thing, that it's not a puzzle anymore. It's an execution. And to me, that's not fun. The dartboard puzzles and the parlor room puzzles have no fun associated with them after I figure out the main solves of them. Even when the new mechanics pop in and I finally got the trophies, and it seems like they make the math problems easier after the trophies, but come on, if they're going to stay easy, just let me get the shit behind it. You know that I've done it. Yeah, well, you just like, if you do it a certain number of times, that's all it is. Because the math problems get stupid. And I'm so sorry if you guys love math. I literally had to do fractions, okay? I was doing fractions.
I hated it.
It's terrible.
I hated the billiards room. I hated it.
It's absolute nightmare because it's not a puzzle. It's just math. After you figure it out,
it's just math, and it keeps getting harder and harder and more confusing, and there's no patterns, and it's so stupid.
It's so stupid. And the room placement is that, but on steroids, because you have very specific things. And I know that the argument right now is that, oh, you have so much to do each time, you just solve the things or learn the things that make sense with the board that you have and the random RNG that you have. But you know what, guys? Throughout this whole thing, you do not always have a million things to do. Sorry. You might think that you could have a million things to do, but maybe you've only spotted a couple of them. Maybe you haven't got rooms that start the other ones. Maybe you just didn't realize, and so you don't know, and you think that you only have one or two things to do. Whatever. And because the way the room placement works, and that like, ooh, it's fun, it's fresh, it's a puzzle for a little while, afterwards you're at the mercy of RNG to do the thing that you need to do or want to do or have like
I still have
ways
not
to
found
go
the
about
trophy
it.
room. I've
Yeah,
never gotten the
see,
trophy room in my
you
draft
never.
pool.
I didn't get the gallery until day like 48 or something
I just
like
got
that.
the gallery for the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, and you are literally for some of these rooms at the mercy of progress with main plot lines just based on whether or not you get the room. Like I didn't power my lab until when was that,
took you
Maddie?
so long.
It took me
Yeah.
so long. I was in like the 30s or the 40s maybe even by the time I actually got to power the lab. And I knew I needed to power the lab and had solved the lab puzzle on like day 15 max. Like I had known for so long. And so the RNG aspects of this, like there are some rooms that have to be in only a few slots on the board. There are some rooms that you can actually only get if you approach from a specific direction for those slots. There are
Ooh, I
some
didn't know that.
rooms, yeah, there are some rooms
Did
that
you figure
you
that out
have
on your
to.
own?
I did, but then there was a letter I found later. It's just that I noticed that you could only go in certain directions. It's the ladies' room, the ladies' bedroom where the diary is. That's why it's so
Oh.
hard to get it. It's because you have to go down. You have to be moving south to get it, and most of the
Oh,
time
I
you're
didn't know
moving
that.
north, so you never
See, this
see
is
it.
I don't notice these bigger patterns. Like I'm not as good at that.
Well, I think that the
I
frustration
haven't
I was
found the secret
having.
garden yet.
You haven't found okay, well that's another one that you have to approach in a very specific way in order to use the key in order to unlock it. Have you
I
found
have
the
the
key?
key in the coat closet. Yes.
Okay, you want me to tell
I
you how to
checked
do
it. I checked it. Yeah. Give me a hint.
You can
Does it have to do with I just found the thing with the soil richness. Does it have to do with that?
no. It literally is just there's only certain places that some green rooms can show up. And this one doesn't have a specific spot, but it has a set of spots that it's allowed to be. And so you just need
Is
to
it the
use it on a
borders?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it's stuff like that, right? And so you could literally set up everything. You could have the key. We haven't talked about the workshop and making different tools, which also has an RNG thing that I'm really mad at. But you have all of these things that have to fall into a place for some of these puzzles to be able to solve. And you could wait for the RNG for 30 runs. By the way, these runs take about 45 minutes a run. So you could wait that long to do these runs. You could finally get the secret garden key, but then Maddie, what if you hadn't have pulled the coat check?
The coat
room?
check, yeah.
Then you're effed and you finally got the key. You have no idea how to use it. Sorry. And this comes up so often for me. And I do have thoughts about like how to maybe alleviate some of that. But the biggest friction to me is that for puzzling, there is like a drastic difference in time to solve versus time for the feeling of accomplishment of it being solved because you are at the mercy of RNG to be able to execute. And when you think about your typical way that you puzzle solve, especially with some of these late game puzzles, you want to experiment. You want to try things. You want to be able to move around and figure out how some of these pieces go together. And when you're at the mercy of RNG, everything feels a little bit higher stakes when you finally get the stuff to line up. I've gotten the pump room to line up, and I've only like drawn the pump room a few times. And of those 3 times, I didn't have enough steps to be checking. So I'm in the middle of like attempting to drain and fill stuff. and I have one very specific thing I am trying to drain to this very specific level, and I have not had enough steps to go back and forth checking the level to see if I've done it the right way. And so even though I've gotten the pump room 3 times, I needed a 4th because I was off by 1 and I didn't have enough steps to go fix it. And that to me is not fun because it'll be another 10 fucking hours before I actually get to solve this puzzle. And I am just, I don't know. The RNG is just too much for me. We can talk about solutions, but it's just too much. I wonder if
they could make it better by like more ivory dice around that you could find.
I think more ivory dice would be good. And I have gotten rooms upgraded that have ivory dice in them now permanently.
Yeah, but the upgrades kind of suck too.
The upgrades fucking suck, guys. They suck.
I thought
they're so minimal.
One, the discs are not obvious. Like, there's not enough of them.
And they're also RNG when you do get the discs.
Also RNG. Mm-hmm.
Yes, because then you only roll, what is it, 3 rooms randomly that you can, or no, you roll 1 random room out of all of the cards in your stack, and then you get a pick from an upgrade for that room. And so if you're like, oh, I really want to do X, doesn't matter because you're never getting that billiard room upgrade. Eat it.
I think that the upgrade discs would have been a lot better if you could pick the room.
Yeah, just let you pick the room. Just let you pick the room. Totally. And like I think that's a part of the balance that feels wrong. And that's what I had kind of sussed out going through this is like, once you have solved some of these puzzles, you have a mastery over them. You shouldn't have to do it for the tedium anymore. And so I feel like there are checkpoints in the game, especially after you roll credits, where you should have significantly more control over the RNG. And I know that you have a lot of improvements. Like I have the conservatory, so I can change the rarity of rooms. I've used the wrench on all the rooms that I really need to make sure that I see those more frequently. I've upgraded my aquarium so that it's electric eels so that I have another power source. Like I have done quite a lot of the things that people recommend to control the RNG, and yet still it remains. And I think in theme, you are the blue prince, right? You get to the end, you are the owner of the castle, you get like a little piece of paper and it's like, it's yours now. Literally in theme, it could give you better abilities to manipulate the deck now because you own the castle. Like you could be starting in the house, maybe at a particular room. You could be removing things from your deck because your deck gets so bloated that you have garbage in it for so long. And unlike roguelikes where you can fuck with your deck, like, you can't fuck with this deck. You just get what you get. There's, like, a few things, but those are also based on RNG.
Oh, you know what also could work is the wrench, but for every room.
But for every room. Yes, exactly, Maddie. Yes, fully agree. Yeah. So, anyway, I'm very
Maybe
miffed.
he'll add that in.
Maybe. But at the same time,
he doesn't seem like the kind of person that would do that. But...
I don't know. If he spent 3 years tweaking and nobody sat down and said, hey, it's actually really frustrating to play this way, I would consider more control. Like, it just feels like it was a poor implementation of a roguelike aspect for a really good...
It was poor. Poor
for
is
the
dramatic.
second half. You think that this is a well-built, well-tuned roguelike?
I think I don't know if I would say poor. Like that's I think it's the difference between it's what you were saying with respecting of time, where I can see that this would be really fun for people who love spending hours and hours and hours in one game. Whereas like we are the people that like don't want to do that.
But I mean, even for people who like to spend hours in game, like you want to spend hours in game trying to get a furnace next to a thing. And when I say hours, I mean like 30 hours. You want to spend 30 hours doing that? I don't think anyone would want to do that.
I don't know. I don't know if I think it's poor. I think it's more just that.
I think it becomes poor.
I think it falls short. I think the first
I want to say 15 runs. So that would have been probably over 10 hours spent in this game. I was pretty satisfied with it because I was, even when I was getting screwed by the RNG, finding enough things to do.
Yeah.
I think after that point, it becomes pretty poorly optimized, where I am trying to do such specific stuff with some of these puzzles that are hard to do,
Yeah.
that the RNG and the roguelike mechanic actually fights against it rather than working with it. And it's not fun anymore because I already figured out the puzzles of placement of the rooms.
That's true.
Yes. So, like, I would agree that, again, for the first 10 hours, I was pretty satisfied. It was fine. I think being now, I think I'm on late 50s or early 60s. I'm
I just had a
quite
brain
a bit
blast.
in. Ooh, blast us.
The whole thing about roguelikes that makes it so satisfying is the additive stuff that you get that you can bring into the next run.
Yeah.
I don't think it has enough additive stuff. Like,
Yeah.
And or I think that it's too hard to get better additive stuff, if that makes sense. Like, like the whole satisfaction around Hades, for example, that I really loved is you got to upgrade your character in ways that would improve, like that would make your runs easier and easier, and you would fall short sometimes, but you at least knew, okay, I did a thing that'll improve my next run.
Yeah, totally.
And there's not enough of that. Like, there's not enough of permanent upgrades. Like, that's the thing I think that has been missed, that is really critical for a roguelike to not feel the way that you're feeling.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we've been saying, but like, that's kind of a key piece of the genre to make it not feel bad. It's not just about starting over. It's about starting over with... But better.
Yeah, totally.
And we've already named things that are in theme that could be done. Like, like maybe because you're the Blue Prince, you automatically get one reroll every time you try to draft. Or you have the wrench and you can change the rarity of every room you draft versus every settings room, like, or, you know, gear room or whatever it is. And maybe the upgrade discs are more prevalent and you get to choose the room that you want to upgrade. Like, it's these small things that are in theme that would just be miles better in like having this game feel better.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think I agree with you too, that that's like the delight is once the amount of add-ons that you get, bonuses you get, trivializes the part that could be frustrating. But like I'm at this point where I have gotten a lot of permanent upgrades, but I still only get like 2 keys at the beginning, and that's not nearly enough.
2 keys.
And I have the upgrade to the billiard room where I get the key card if I end my day in the billiard room, which is actually a really fantastic upgrade. And still I run out of keys and locked doors with setting the security room. Like, so I fully agree with you. I think more, like, I don't think this is an unfixable game for late game. I think there are things that could happen that could make it feel a lot more delightful, but I'm in the point right now where I'm actually kind of mad at the game because I think the puzzle aspect is really good. I actually really love the puzzles, and I have a whole set. Like, Maddie, I just found the coolest frickin' puzzle like in the library books that I've been going through, and like I found a bookshop with new books. And
I haven't found the bookshop yet.
Yes, and there's like such like I'm overwhelmed with like puzzles right now of like, oh my god, I really want to solve these, and I am so upset that it takes me so long to be able to try and solve stuff that I'm like to the point where I'd rather watch somebody else do it, or I'd rather look at screenshots. I'm like, can somebody send me screenshots of the game so that I can just solve the puzzles?
So you can solve the puzzles. See, that's the thing. Yeah, I totally agree, and that's such a bummer because like I just finished solving the music sheets puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on a whole different journey than you are. I'm like little baby over here. Solving the most basic things. I also know that there's microchips that I need to find.
Mhm.
I have not.
I haven't
found
found
any.
all of those. I've only found one, so
I found
haven't been able
none.
to do it.
I just have the one that exists in the room once you unlock it. And I know that there's something with the red box in the yeah. So, anyways, there's my and I haven't done the diary, but like yeah, it's like all of these things where it's like I can't even play around with it because it takes so long.
Yeah. I think for the most part I have been quite like I agree with people. It's been jam-packed. There's been stuff everywhere and I've enjoyed that. There has been a few times where I felt kind of blocked because I didn't have any, like I had maybe 2 things I was trying to solve, but I think that course corrected itself a little bit now that I have unlocked a few rooms based on RNG, right? Like I had to RNG myself a few rooms to be able to get the thing, like the bookshop, for instance. And then I had to have enough money at the same time as the bookshop to buy books. So like definitely RNG stuff there still. But I do think that it opened back up for me. It was like, what was interesting about the game is that it felt like, oh my God, there's so much stuff. And then it fell off like mid-ish game where I was like, oh wow, I really have a very specific set of things I need to do right now. And this is really annoying to try to do. And then I rediscovered a lot of things and then it opened back up again, which is feeling better. And I'm actually doing better on the different runs now, but it's just such a slog that it's painful, you know? Yeah. But I actually have been really enjoying the puzzles, which is new for me because I feel like a lot of these puzzle games we've been playing lately, I've been kind of nitpicky on the puzzle design of the puzzles, but I've actually really enjoyed these puzzles, minus the billiard room puzzles and the gallery-ish, but I felt really good when I solved the gallery, so I liked it.
I haven't
saw
solved
a lot
the
of
gallery
discourse.
yet. I just got your hint, so I need to go redraft the gallery and try it again. I gave up. I was like, fuck this, I'm done.
I had to sit in the gallery for something silly like 2 hours. I just sat there and like walked around the room, and I had Chris help me figure out the first one. And then once we had that figured out, he wasn't any help on the other 3. He was useless, but he helped me get the first one. And after I got the first one, I could figure out a little bit better what to do on the other ones. But I've really enjoyed the puzzles, which is why I'm so frustrated with the other aspects.
With the other, with the roguelike aspect. Yep.
Yes. And it's not even like just the fact that it's roguelike, because I actually really like the idea of like being able to rebuild the house each time. But like, I just want to be able to rebuild the house each time how I want to versus rebuilding the house each time and fingers crossed, hopefully I get the things that I need to do the thing that I want, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that.
I'm curious how you feel, because you look confused at the beginning when I was mentioning things like the cutscene times and whatever. Did that not impact you at all?
No.
That is
I don't know why.
insanity.
That didn't bother me. It just didn't. I don't know why.
So you don't mind that every single morning you have to sit for about 30 seconds while it fades in, slowly drops you off in the lobby.
No, for me, it just didn't bother me. I don't know.
And then you have to turn around and run to the shed and then pick your room and then run back and then start your day. That doesn't bother you? And then every time you pick up a banana, oh, this is going to give you steps. Every time you pick, you don't, that is insanity to me. I don't
know. I'm going to be honest. I literally didn't even enter my brain. that did not enter my brain.
I'm so happy for you because it's miserable.
Yeah, I think I've spent less time on this game. So than you have.
You still spent a lot of time on this game. I looked at your Steam hours. It's like over 24 hours.
Yeah. But I'm not as far as you.
I know, but I'm at something more, I think like 35 or 40 hours probably.
Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, it just didn't... The running to the shed is annoying. It is annoying. But the cutscene pieces, it did not even enter my brain.
Crazy, because they're not skippable. You can't skip through them. You just have to sit every single...
All I hate is Alzara. Fucking hate Alzara. Get me out of here. I'm like, you're useless to me. You're weird.
You see the rumpus room and you turn the other way. You're like, anything
No,
else?
I make it every time because there's 8 coins in that puppy.
Oh, that's true.
I just hate him.
It's a love-hate, like with the
and
math
I've
puzzle.
been
You have to get the
by
two
the drop
keys.
of a coin.
Okay.
Wrap up?
We're maybe like if there is anything that you found super delightful that you were really excited about, because I spent a long time shitting on the RNG.
No, I really like the idea of this game. I've had a lot of fun. I really enjoy puzzles, but like I don't think about them in the same way as you do. And so this did provide me with a lot of fun moments. It also provided me with a lot of frustrating ones. That billiards puzzle, literally hate with the fiery,
Yeah,
like,
that needs
passion.
to go to hell.
It's just math, and it's really, really hard math to get a fucking key. And you're like, dude,
do I need a key that bad? And the answer is yes.
And the answer is yes, and that's why it sucks.
Yes.
That's why it sucks.
I skip the parlor room gems at least half the time, but I can never skip the stupid billiard room. So
see, I didn't find the parlor to be as hard at all. Like, the parlor did not trip me up in nearly the same. I think I have like I've only missed like 2 of the parlor.
I'm to a point where each box has at least 2 phrases on it each time.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the fuck to do with that half the time. I'm like, so are they allowed to both be true or false, or can they be different? If it's one is false, is this considered a false box? Does this totally negate the idea of 1 true or 2, and they're not all the same? And so I just hate them now. Like, once it got to the 2-liners, I'm like, wow, I don't want to read this. I just don't want to read it.
It's not fun. Who's having fun with this?
Nobody's having fun.
Anyways.
Okay, but good thing.
The good things is I really liked the idea of I really thought it's like really fun when you are, especially at the beginning, when you're finding new rooms for the first time and reading letters and putting stuff together. So I did really like a lot of the stuff, and like the music sheet stuff, like those are the level of I'm having a lot of delight with it. Probably more than you are at this point, but I do really like the conceit of the game, and I've had a lot of fun and a lot of delightful moments.
Yeah. I would say for me, positives, I had a few puzzles that were just really fun to solve and I thought worked really well with the roguelike, even RNG-ish.
Which ones?
So I thought that the picture puzzle with the letter differences was really well suited to this game. The chess piece puzzle, which I don't think you've gotten to yet, I also solved really quickly. I think I got randomly lucky with some of the, like, you have to have all 4 flames lit before you can do a thing with it. But I got really lucky and I got the 4 flames like really, really quickly. And I really enjoyed that puzzle. I thought it was really well suited to the rooms as well. And I am really loving the, I don't know, like the general, there's just so many things that I could be looking at and doing. I think overall, if I had a lot more control over everything, I would be really, really into this game and I would want to 100% it. Like I actually really, really want to do that. And that's why I'm so frustrated with the other side of it, because I can't find myself spending another 50 hours on this game. And I think the like negatives for me are like, to your point, I think if they just gave us more upgrades, that would solve a lot of my problems so that I could skip through a lot of the minutia, like hunting through the same rooms over and over again to hopefully find a coin or a key on the ground. Like I don't want to do that anymore. I want to solve these cool puzzles.
Or like it would be cool if at some point you could just permanently unlock like the metal detector.
Yeah, permanently unlock that. And like permanently open the safes. Like once you've actually done that. Yeah, we didn't even talk about like the combining of tools very much. And I actually think that's a really fun mechanic. Like you, through the game, right, you find the different tools like the shovel or the metal detector or the wrench or whatever, and then you can combine them in the workshop. And I've actually really enjoyed doing that, finding new things and figuring out how to use them. Like the sledgehammer you can use in quite a few different places, and I think that's really fun. But you have to hope that you get a coat closet when you finally unlock it. And then you have to hope you get a coat closet later when you finally want to use it. And all of those aspects to me just don't make it as fun. But I think that a lot of the puzzles, like the music puzzle I thought was really fun too. I thought that one was a cute one. And the puzzle that I'm in the middle of solving, I've actually really liked, which is the one with like the bookshop and the books. I think there's a lot to it, but it's very puzzly. It's like, ooh, I look at this page and I notice this, and then I look at the colors of these things, and then the colors match. Like, it's just really delightful. So I think overall, if the puzzles were worse, then I would have given on this game a long time ago. But I think the puzzles are actually really good. So if you're somebody who really likes solving puzzles, I would definitely at least give it a shot and see. And I think for me, honestly, with some quality of life changes, I would easily push through. But with that, I don't know if I want to. But at the same time, it's honestly the quote that I read, that review of the love-hate relationship, I feel like I have to keep going. That's how I feel, where I'm like, I want to keep going so bad. And yet, like, the design is pushing back against it, which is, to me, a flaw in the design. Because if you have people wanting to play that bad, then there's something that needs to be tweaked.
Yeah.
So.
Or there needs to be an option to tweak it.
Yeah. Like, if people really like that part of the game, good for y'all. Good for y'all. I'm glad that you like it. I liked it for a while. I'm over it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. But I don't want to discourage the person who made it or people who are considering doing more genre puzzle mashups, because I think it's really fun to see,
Yes.
you know, like how they thought of doing some of this stuff. And I do think that this game was super, super creative in a lot of the way that they approached it. And I really love the idea of, we're going to build out this house, and then the rooms will be different and the puzzles will have rooms. And like, I actually really adore that. And I did put some stupid, crazy amount of hours into this and have enjoyed it for a good portion of the time. I just think that there's some tweaks that need to be made. And my guess is that it probably wouldn't be getting 10s out of 10s and 9s out of 10s from everybody if they pushed through past that like 10-hour mark. But that's a big ask of people who are consistently writing reviews for all the games that are released. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
So who'd you recommend it to, Maddie, and what's your rating?
Oh, my rating. Yeah, I would recommend it. I mean, I think you said it correct. Like, I would recommend it to just about everyone who wants to play like a puzzle mystery type game. I think it's a fun one to start, especially because it's on Game Pass. There's a really low barrier to entry there that you could, you know, just give it a shot, see if you like it. So my brain wants to give, like, I want to give this game a 5 out of 5, logically, because it's the exact type of game I want to get made and, like, continue to be getting made. But my experience was more of a 4 out of 5. The thing that's making me feel some type of way about rating this game is that piece of, like, I love the idea of this game, and for a lot of it, I'm like so bought in, and it's like a 5 out of 5, you know, and it's so creative. It has such a unique visual style. Like, the music is married with it in a really nice way. And that's what makes me want it to be a 5 out of 5 experience. And then it has these moments that knock it back a peg because of the flaws that we've been talking about. So I came to a 4 out of 5, but like, if it did some rebalancing, maybe it would be a 5 out of 5. Like, I think it has an opportunity to.
Yes, I think it has an opportunity. Yeah, totally. I also struggled with rating this game because I think if I could break them apart, I would do something different, but I can't because it's all together. And so I think for me, it was probably more like a 7 out of 10, 3.5 out of 5 experience. I think the first 10-ish hours, I would have easily given a 4, even a 4.5 out of 5 to the first set. And then I think the longer I've gone on, the more that I've actually reduced that rating. But I do agree with you that with tweaks and with that like tuning, which I don't actually think would be that hard from an engineering perspective to make those tweaks, and I think that they would fit in theme really well. Like I think there are a lot of different opportunities here to like tweak in theme, then I think you could easily get back up to those like 4 or 5 out of 5 scores for me. Like I very, very easily think that you could do that. And I would really, really hope that they do that, because I want to keep playing. And overall, like, recommend it. Yes, I think I would. I would especially like just stop whenever you want to stop, right? Like I think that it's delightful for a very good period of time. Like if you told me it was a great game for 10 hours, like that's 10 hours of solid gameplay time that you'll get really enjoying it. So I would recommend it. I would just say, like, don't beat yourself up over continuing it if you're starting to get frustrated. And if I had a way to screenshot all the stuff for you guys so that you could do the thing that I want to do, then I would totally do that for y'all. But I do not have the patience for it. But I hope that if you've played this game and you did really like it and you are continuing to solve it, please post screenshots online so that I can go solve it. Thank you.
Thank you. No spoiler screenshots.
No spoil. That's very important. No spoilers, because I want to solve it myself. But just screenshots. Just screenshots of every room and every puzzle screen. Thanks. That's all I want.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we ready to close it out?
Yeah, let's close it.
Okay. Thank you for listening to our podcast. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and rate it. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and YouTube at Baddy Breakdowns. Visit our website, Made by Bridget. The podcast art was done by the lovely Tanisha Vernicar, and the podcast was edited by me, and I also made our theme song. Join us next time to hear us two baddies break down Wander Stop. And then after that, we have a listener request that we're going to play.
We have a listener request. Oh my God. You know who you are.
I also want to give a shout out to listener Camden, because he's been commenting on our podcast episodes, and it's been really fun to see the energy that you have. So
it has
thank
been.
you.
Yeah, and Blueprints was a good rec. We were already in the middle of executing on it because we were really excited for it. So you just read our minds. So thank you.
Yes, yeah. And he said it was very Baddy Breakdowns core, and it's absolutely that.
I absolutely agree with that.
Yes. And he also recommended, or they also recommended, Promise Mascot Agency, and I do have that game, and I am very much looking forward to playing it.
I really want to play that one for the podcast. I'm excited for it.
Okay. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.